Hi guys, this is Daytona lap guide. Not only is it a lap guide, but it's a guide on a bit of driving technique this week, because you're going to need to use all your technique slowing down into this turn that's ahead of me now in turn 1. It's not easy at all. First of all, you have to know your brake marker, which is annoying because your brake marker, the reason why it's annoying for me is because my brake marker is one of those signs on the left hand side, you know, the 200 metre board. That's what I use, and when I go past that, that's when I know to brake. And sometimes I miss it because I'm so far away from it. You know, it's a good 60 feet away to the left on the grass. You know, so my margin of error has gone right up because the brake marker's so far away. If the brake marker was right next to me, you know, on the right hand side wall or something, then I'd have a much better chance of nailing it every time. So that's what I'm going to actually do. I'm going to try and find a different one that's closer to my eye. Basically what I do is I look straight. I'm using a rift. I look straight, and when that 200 metre ball disappears out the left hand side of the rift, I know that I've got to brake sort of, you know, about half a second after that. It's at around the 180 metre mark. That's where your braking marker is. Brake marker. The way you want to decelerate the car down here is not the normal way that you do it. Take some other turn, what we've been using. Say, take the turn into the chicane at Watkins, you know, down to second gear or whatever it is. You don't even think about that braking zone, do you? You just brake, blip the throttle, change down gear, turn into the chicane. This one needs a bit of thought, because you've got to change your technique on when you blip the throttle down. There's another plane coming in at 400 miles an hour. Right, yeah, good one, iRacing, nice one. As you come down through the gears, instead of doing your normal blip, what you want to do is you want to let the revs drop right down low and do a massive blip. Not huge, not really big. If you want to blip early like you normally do, you've got to blip and you've pretty much got to floor it. I'll explain why in a minute. But the easiest way to do it is to let the revs drop right down as you go down through the gears, and then blip more than you normally do. And when I say blip more, I mean put your foot down harder on the gas as you blip, not slower, harder. Still the same speed, you know, on off, really quick. Just watch the throttle now, look, like that much. You know, normally I'm blipping around there. Still doing the same speed, look. I can do full power blip the same timing as that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly the same timing. One's tiny little round, the other one's full throttle. You want to use about half throttle, or just under, if you drop the revs down to about 4,000 RPM, or I think it's about 4,000, might be around 5. But you want to blip a lot. The reason why you blip a lot is when you blip normally, when you're braking in a straight line, the car doesn't lose the rear end from the blips. When you're braking in a corner like this one, you need to blip the throttle harder, because as you're on the limit of the brakes, when you blip the throttle, the engine wants to brake more, because the engine's being forced up into the next rev, you know, the higher rev range of the lower gear. Now if you blip harder, the engine is there anyway. You know, the power of the engine is taking it up there. As you hit the downshift button, the engine is revving up, and it's there. It's ready to be engaged into the lower gear. You know, if you do a small blip, the engine is, you know, it is speeding up at the moment of the blip. But as the rear wheels grip, you know, as the rear wheels, as the next gear lower comes in, the rear wheels are forcing the engine faster, because you only blipped a little bit, yeah? So that's what locks the rear wheels up more. I've just remembered there's a nice little trick to try and control the rear. I'm going to try this week. I'm going to share it with you guys because that is the sort of person I am. I never keep secrets. Never. Sometimes I do. So let's go and show you where all this stuff is and the important stuff on this track is. So down here is second gear. Obviously aim for the tyre. This has got, it really has to be one of the most difficult things to do on the whole service. Slow this car down into turn 1 and make it round turn 1. The only other thing I will say about turn 1 is you don't have to be really fast through turn 1. As long as you can, you know, if you're chasing some guy, you're going to catch him in the draft on the oval if you're anywhere near him. So you haven't got to make up a load of ground in turn 1. As long as you can stay with him through the infield, you know, and if you're, you know, like a second behind him as you go onto the oval, you're going to get that back. You'll get a good few tenths of it back before you get to the bus stop. And then if you're as good as the person you're trying to catch through the bus stop, if it is called the bus stop, I'm talking about the big chicane in the middle of the oval, you'll be there at the finishing line with him. So you haven't got to really be that fast through this turn. So, you know, don't try and drive this on the limit. It's too, you know, it's hard to get around here on the limit. Anyway, the first thing to let you know, what not to do anyway, is as you come down here, don't hit this dirt. It's really easy. It sort of feels like a natural line to just run on that bit of dirt there. Don't really want to do it because it upsets the car when you get off the other side of it. You'll come down here like this, and as you get to here, you lose the rear end, and I think it's just because, I mean, you can see my left front tyre, how much crap's on that. And you have to brake on that first line there. So you see the solid line, brake on the first one there, or a little tiny bit after, maybe in between the first one and the second one. Down the second gear, always bang on about hitting these white lines, you know, for entries. You don't have to do that here. Look where the racing line is. The racing line's on this black area of tarmac. I'd say it's a little bit wider than that as it goes. I'll probably aim to put my car down this transition, this where the tarmac changes there. So you don't have to worry about being on the white line on the left there, but you do on the exit here. Now this is one of those exits you're going to see as I get on power out of this exit. You're going to see the car turning to the right just as it is now, but my steering will be straight. It's like I always say to you, you know, you got to get on the power hard enough for the steering to be forced out straight. That's the secret to this car. Nice little obvious turning point down here, and I'm hoping I'm going to learn this through the week because it's such a hard turning to nail. Just back up so you can see it properly. See where the white line just kicks off to the right there. Turning just before that, say about there. You'll nail this little apex here, which is pretty tricky. Just want a little tiny bit of curve. It's really hard to nail that. And then as you come out here, what happens is you can see my car still turning. Still turning, still turning, still turning. As you get to there, this is where you need to hit the brakes. Now, no matter what your car is doing, you know, if it's sliding, if it's going straight, if it's going off the track, if it's doing anything, if it's on its roof, it doesn't matter. You need to hit the brakes here to make it round the next turn. So what normally happens to me is, let me try and guess this line. So I'm out sort of here, just turning to the left slightly, and then as soon as I get to the end of this curb here, hit the brakes here, and then what happens is the car goes round to the right like that, and you have to put in a little bit of right-hand steering lock to keep the car straight, to keep the car going where you want it to go. Yeah, otherwise it's going to end up over there in the cones and over that side. So just watch out for that as well. You might see me do it when I'm up to speed. You might just see a little bit of right-hand steering lock. Again, don't worry about the line on the left. You haven't got to worry about that. As you come around here, you want a really late apex. Don't worry about if you miss this curb, doesn't matter. Your apex can be as late as that. There. And then run out to the left. If you can stay away from the left hand side, it's pretty good because you can get over to the right hand side pretty quick. In pretty much every other car on the surface, you can just run the racing line round that last corner, run out to the yellow curb on the left, and then get over to the right. But in this car, it's a bit tricky. You're sort of up to, you're up to the top of second gear, and then you're thinking, oh shit, I've got to get over to this side. So just bear that in mind. There's your brake marker for this little turn here. That curb on the right hand side before the cones. There. Down the second gear. Now I don't know what I'm doing with gears yet, but I don't know if I said this. Use your Nürburgring setup. Your Nürburgring setup is the setup you want to go for. It's pretty much spot on with the top end. You might want to go a click longer on your top end. It's perfect for me now, with no other cars on the track, so it might not be, if I'm chasing down someone or whatever, So maybe one click up, one click higher gear ratio on the fifth gear. So second gear here. So as you come out here, as my gears are set up now, as I come out here, it's not good being in second gear. I'm right at the top of second gear, 8,000 RPM or something like that, changing up to third, and I've got, it's normally around here I think where it's happening, about there. That's why I'm changing up to third gear, just not nice at all, So I'm either going to mess around with the gears or I'm just going to short shift there. But I think even if I short shift, I'm going to have to lower the third gear down a bit, just to have enough power, because it seems to bog down a bit. So this is what I'm saying, how important the gears are in this car, they're really important to get them right. But I'd rather have a decent third gear coming onto the oval, and then have a bit of a step between third and fourth gear. A couple of things to watch out for down here. That there, for those of you that didn't watch Sesame Street when you was a kid, that's a number 3. Sorry. Yeah. Everyone's brake marker in a normal car is around there where the track goes dark. It's not, that's not happening in the 49. It's back here. It's about halfway between number 3 and that black area of tarmac. And if you can look there at the track, you're not going to see this at racing speed, but this is pretty much spot on. That little gap in the line, there's a line there. If I just run down the middle of it, that line there, right where that little smooth bit is there, that's your brake marker. Here we go. That's the other thing to watch out for. I'm finding it really hard to work out how wide the bloody car is as I'm coming down here. So sometimes I've been on the brakes hard and hard and hard, and then all of a sudden, without even realising it, I'm doing this. Because I'm looking at the curb on the left. So just give yourself a bit of space on the right hand side there for the wall. Third gear entry. To this is really hard to spot for me. I'm gonna have to really practice that. So third gear entry. Down to second gear when you get to about here, but don't accelerate at this point. Do not put your foot down at all. You don't want to speed up there at all. So you slow down through here. Yeah, second gear. So second gear, keep your foot the same until you get to about here. That's when you can accelerate, and you want to aim, the line you want to aim for is you want to just run over this curb here, and you want your left tyre to go over that part there where the curb meets up with the grass again. Just there like that. That'll stop your 1X's and all your slowdowns and stuff happening. You really got to watch what you're doing there. You really got to practice this turn hard. You got to really take into account what you're doing there, because you can run wide there and get a slowdown, and then that is you finished. And it doesn't matter what lap you're on. You won't get it back, you won't get the gap back. So even if it means, you know, putting your foot down out of the chicane and then realising that you've done it wrong and braking, you know, just to miss that slowdown. This acceleration zone out of this corner, out of the chicane, I think you're on this sort of line. Let me just check. You get the line right, Phil. So you're coming through here. You can actually see where the dark, you know, the track is dark right over that curblet. So, you know, you can take that curb. But from here, one thing you've got to try and do is just keep your foot planted. You'll be in third gear, you know, through this acceleration zone, and you will lose the back end. You will get some wheel spin coming out of here. Not behind me, down here, further up ahead, around here somewhere. This is where you get a bit of wheel spin. I don't know if it's that yellow line or what, I don't know. Probably not. Well, it's probably where the track banks up, that's probably what it is. But you do get a little bit of wheel spin sometimes. What you got to do is just keep your foot down. Don't lift off. Just try and sort it out with your steering. The reason why I'm saying that is if you take your foot off, you're at the top of the third gear. So, you know, you take your foot off, you know, imagine if you're in your road car and you're at the top of, say, second gear in your road car and you just take your foot off the pedal. You know, your head dives forward, you know, like the car just wants to slow down and dive. It's exactly the same as what happens in this. So, you know, you're starting to get a little bit of a slide. You take your foot completely off, the front dips down again, the rear goes up again, you know, and you lose a bit of grip on the rear, you know, and it's just nasty, you know, and you're losing speed because you're taking your foot off. You can survive it, you've just got to keep your foot stuck in there and just practice surviving this acceleration zone. It'll probably happen as I'm riding around at pace, so I'll show you that as well. So, it's about that time for me to say, I used to like Run DMC, I'm a lot older now, so I don't listen to that. Let's try and fix it while the jazz. Right, brake marker. Finishing line, 200 metre ball, brake, blip, big blip, stay in the middle, and cut across. Right, we'll start that from here. So watch this dirt, let me just show you what happens if I do go on the dirt. There's your slide. Oh, and I'll just show you something else. That was a good idea of what I wanted to show you earlier, but I couldn't do it. It was too hard for me to show you. That was what was known in the trade, just back then, as a tank slapper. So just rewind the tape again. Tape? Just rewind the replay a bit and just watch that tank slapper and watch what I did with my brakes. Because you can get out of trouble with your brakes. It happened at Watkins Glen on Thursday. And I was coming down the back straight, went round the left-hander, and my right rear went on the grass, and I lost the back end, and I was heading for that barrier on the left before the last turn. What you do in that case, put your foot on the brake as hard as you can. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the front wheels to lock up. And what happens when you put your foot on the brake hard and lock the front wheels up, it straightens the car again. If you just watch what I just did there out of that corner where I was losing the rear end, all I did was just put my foot hard on the brake and it sorts out the slide. Worst thing you can do is when you get a tank slapper like that is just keep steering into it and keeping your foot down. There's only one result. There was two results. You're going to spin and then the tyres over there. So just slam your foot on the brake. You'll see it all the time in the British touring car. Any front wheel drive series, just watch any British touring cars in the wet and you'll see some guy get spun around from behind and you'll think that's it, he's off. All of a sudden he'll either put his foot on the brake as hard as he can to get the front to come back round straight, or he'll floor it and it does the same thing. It loses the traction on the front end of the car and that brings the car round straight. So if you're in this huge slide in a front wheel drive car, you floor it you put your foot down, you get as much wheel spin as you can, both front wheels. It brings the front of the car back round again. And that's exactly the same as what I just did there. So if you do lose the back end massively like that, just always slam your foot on the brake. If you know you're not going to be able to save it, because I wouldn't have been able to save that then with steering it, and I had to slow down for the corner. So, you know, I'm killing two birds with one stone. You know, I'm in trouble. I've got to slow down anyway, so I know that if I do hit the brakes as hard as I can, it's going to sort the front of the car out anyway. And I know I've got to stop, so I'll just brake as hard as I can. It sorts the car out, and it gets me slowed down. But even in an acceleration zone, like I'm saying, last week at this week on Thursday at Watkins, you know, come around that back straight, that slow left-hand one, medium left-hander, you know, I lost the rear end, knew I was heading for that wall on the left, I just put my foot on the brake, and it brings the car straight again, and you can get round. So anyway, again, this is that acceleration zone where the steering is going to be nice and straight. As you're on power, watch for the turn in about there, maybe a little bit early. There's even then, as you notice, because the car was turning left then, as soon as I hit the brakes, I had to turn right. Just watch for that through these laps. You'll see it pretty much every lap, I think. Turn the second gear, just go for a short shift, I think. There. Watch for the number 3, brake just after the number 3. Always remember, if you're chasing some guy down and you're doing another, 5 mile an hour faster than you normally do, you've got to brake early to get through these corners. Just watch them all on the right, what I normally hit. Down a second gear, don't accelerate, not yet, now. There's the wheel spin, that was a bit too much slide to keep my foot in, that's why I lifted off, but I still wanted to keep some power in the car. So you notice I didn't slow down, I just took my foot off a little bit. If I'd have slowed down, I would have caused more problems. So you just keep your foot in as much as you can, you know. Finishing line, brake turn, there. Let the revs drop right down. 3 little shifts. Hard on the power, miss that dirt on the left. And the car don't slide. Right, watch for the straightened up. Steering's going to straighten up now. There it is. Little dab of brake, I think, there. Yeah, that's it. Little touch of steering to the right there to kick the car from spinning round. On the brakes. Again, steering straightened up. Get over to the right. Again, short shift. I think. I've definitely got to sort that third gear out. It's got no power when I change up to third gear, there's no power whatsoever. Probably go for a little bit of a later short shift. Again, just after the number 3. Third gear entry. Second gear, staying second. Again, I've lost the losing it too much now. Again, just go back and watch that again. Watch the pedals, watch the throttle as I lose the rear end there. You can never see me come completely off the gas, even if I lose the car like that. And, no matter how much I lose the car, unless I have to put my foot hard down on the brake to stop it, you'll never see me come completely off the gas. It's the worst thing to do if you've lost the rear end. Right, let's see, get this steering sorted out again. That was nice. A little bit of wheel spin, but that's alright. Dab of brakes. Nice turn in there. 1x, but never mind. Morley holding a world record for 1x's this season. I won't worry about that. So I just held it in second gear a little bit longer there. So I'm gonna try and run this whole chicane in third gear now, just to see what happens. Too much curb. Oh, I didn't even get a slowdown. Wow. Thought I was going to get a slowdown for sure there. But I ran the middle part of the chicane a bit faster there. So yeah, third gear was a bit long for that as well. So if I did put third gear up now. See how much easier this car is to drive when you know, if you part of the track that's really hard. Always just try and make the car as easy as you can to drive it, you know. So, like I'm saying, turn one. Right, I'm going to show you now as a plane lands at 450 miles an hour. I'm just going to show you as I come around for turn one again what happens if you just flip it normally. Probably guess what's going to happen, but I'll just show you the difference because my brain's used to flipping later now. I think it's at around 5,000 I'm flipping the throttle now, and I'm flipping it hard, you know, just watch the throttle inputs all the time. I'm really flipping it hard, just to ease the rear wheels, you know. That's all it's doing. I think it's going to be a third gear chicane for me. There was the wheel spin, that didn't lift at all. Just use the steering. You don't lose any time. You warm the rear tyres up nicely. Right, let's go for normal blips down here. See if I can make it. There you go. That's all because of the blip. That's all it is. So that's a perfect demonstration of what happens if you just treat that corner as a normal corner like you do everywhere else, you know. There was a little kink to the right, look, just as I hit the brakes, just put a little tiny bit of steering into the right. Only if the car's turning though, you don't have to do it if the car's going straight. When we get round here again, I will flip it normally. Right, So see how high I flipped the throttle there? That was exactly what I did in turn one just now. For the wheel spin, a little tiny bit there. Look. Not too much though. So you saw how earlier I flipped the throttle there now just to slow down in a bus stop. The only reason why you can't do that in turn one is because the car's turning. So the right rear wheel is doing all the work, you know. That's why you need to help the car out as much as you can. So just let the revs drop right down, right down. There, even that low. Doesn't slow you down one bit doing that. That's the turn one secret of success. Turns turn one into an absolute joy. And again, I'll just come round. Just sort the steering out to keep the car straight, and keep the car on track rather. So let me go through a lap of doing it all wrong, just so you can see. So I won't short shift here, so you can see how messy that is. All I ever do is just try and work out how to make the car easier to drive. The easier it is to drive, I'm not talking about setup, I'm talking about the driving. The easier the car is to drive, the faster you can go with it, because the more comfortable you are with it. That's all it ever comes down to. So if it means short shifting out some corners, you know, you've got to do it. That's all you can do. Or whatever's fastest, you know. I can't get the car to go as fast as I can if I stay in second gear. I've tried and I've tried, you know, just to try and hold the second gear, you know, with about 2/3 of the way throttle. It's still faster for me to short shift it. So, again here, look. Even if you don't flip until you get to there, if you're really in trouble, just wait till the right, you know, the last point. That's what happens if you go on that dirt again. I don't know if I hit the dirt. I was in such trouble there, I didn't even know if I hit the dirt. Too much. This is what I'm talking about. Now I couldn't get on the brakes because I've ran so wide there, completely missed the brake marker. So I ran wide on the entry. That's what I'm talking about. You've got to get the car sorted out for that corner because you have to hit the brakes at the end of that curve. I did get away with it a little bit there because I wasn't going as fast as I normally do. So as I get round, so watch where the blips are on this turn now. Right up the top, the car's planted, you know, because you've got both rear wheels doing equal amount of work, slowing the car down. But only in turn one. So let's try again. You know, I was blipping at around 7,500 RPM. Let's try it here, just to see what the difference is like. So, brake marker there. Already the car's lost it. You know, it's so much harder to just keep the rears brought up. It lost the rear end on the first blip from 5th to 4th. Which is just mental. So I think I've covered everything. What I'm going to be able to tell you guys. Let's just go for a flying lap when we come round. See what happens. Yeah, the setup's pretty good. The chassis setup. Yeah, see, I don't know which is faster. Now I've got the tyres at nice temperature, they're not overheated. You can get away with second gear coming onto the oval, but it's a lot easier to run third. If I can sort third gear out, I will, because that'll make it better for, I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, this one. It'll make it better for this turn. This. Well, there's your wheel spin. Just keep your foot down. Let's try and go for a flying lap. So. There we go. Wish me luck. Hit the dirt a bit there, but never mind. Yeah, that needs a little dab of brake, just as you turn in there. Don't worry about that apex mist, because you've always got the second one there. You're actually faster through there now. Mind you, I'm pushing harder now. Yeah, I can kick the foot to the floor, third gear that way. I'll do that. So, about half a second up what I was just running. I think this is going to be a third gear thing for me all the way through. Yeah, lost a bit there. Well, alarmingly, I've only got 2 laps of fuel left. I'm just going to have a look at my lap time. Alarmingly, that was a pretty bloody good lap. And I'm slower than Dave by 2 tenths. Shall see you next week, guys.